All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another field trip out of TJ's Lego room into TJ's upstairs family room. And today I'm bringing you the my new version of a YT model Corellian freighter, and this is for a particular contest held by Lego Star Wars Fans Group on Facebook, and it is sponsored by Chips Bricks. If you want to go ahead and join up, all the links are on the Facebook page, and I am really excited for this particular contest because I think I have a chance to win. I always think I have a chance to win with everything, but that very rarely happens. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the designation of this ship, where its inspirations kind of came from, and, you know, all the things. So here we have my YT model freighter, which I call the YT985. There is some meaning behind the numbers, but it'd probably take a little too long, and this video is going to be long as it is. This is the number 76 flying freighter. If you look right here in Arabesh, it's actually a 76 in the made-up Star Wars language. The 7 is very similar to the normal 7, and the 6 is just a little bit off from ours, so it's not too hard to see the 76 in there. Oh man, where do I start with this thing? Alright, so what I am going to do, I practiced this once before, and I'm going to give you a quick rotation analysis of this particular ship. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can rotate it around so you can kind of just get an overlook of where this thing is and how it's put together. Sorry if there's some vibration happening, but you know, I don't have one of those cool fancy turntables for my sets and mocks, unfortunately. Maybe that'll be something I get eventually to do some of these videos. Probably should get something like that, right? Alright, so there you go. There is a 360 rotation, woohoo! And I was only a little bit off on the end. Okay, inspiration. I found a picture of a ship that looked a little bit like this, and I'll see if I can put the picture down in the comment section or in the show notes below. If not, I'll have to find it in some comments and post it later. But I was trying to design a ship that did not look like every other YT model freighter, and it's very difficult to do. Mostly because they have the same basic shape. You have two forks coming out the front. You have your rounded body, you have your engines at the back, you have your cockpits usually on one of the sides at the front. Now, one thing that I've done in the past is put my cockpit, make a rounded cockpit in the front, and not the usual cone-shaped one. Some people may dock me points for that, but, oh, excuse me. In a lot of ways, I think that's a little easier sometimes to work with a different shaped cockpit. And it also makes the ship very visually distinct from other ships, other YT model ships. So this particular one, I did go with the curved front again. If you have seen my other video for my Rogue Pirate Millennium Falcon that I did for the Rebrick contest, you'll notice that I kind of have a theme going, and that's because I like that particular design of cockpit, especially on these ships. So I did have a few pieces of inspiration. I'll have that picture down below so you can look it up. And then on the back here with these engines, I've actually wanted to do this engine design for quite a while. So in my other Millennium Falcon, I did use engines very similar to this, where they were two vertical engines. But in this particular model, when I was looking through the Rebrick contest after that previous one ended, I saw somebody who had some fins sticking up out of the back of their Falcon, and I thought they were engines, and I thought they were these engines. But they weren't. They were something else. And so when I was designing this freighter, I decided that I really, really, really wanted to build two vertical Millennium Falcon engines. And when I say Millennium Falcon, I mean this curved looker on the outside with the whole engine being curved. And I wanted two of them on there, and I wanted it so bad. I actually built a giant one that would have been, you know, almost double the height. And I decided that was way too big, and then I went with these smaller ones, and as you can see, they're still pretty big on the ship. They still look pretty massive on here. If I can pop up and show you a little bit of a profile, you can see that, yeah, they definitely stick out there. All right. But nonetheless, those are the engines, those are the pods. All right. So one thing that I'm sure some of you have already figured out is that this ship is a cargo ship. It's a cargo container, and it carries cargo. And I'm going to show you the cargo that it carries. Ready? There's one. And there's two. These are cargo containers. They're fully enclosed all the way down and around. Now, I don't have any cargo in them right now, and I'll put some in there and put them in some pictures that I can link to a Flickr page or to the contest page. But as you can see inside, they are completely hollow and able to carry things and carry cargo. But as I said, these are hollow right now. So that's kind of fun, right? Right? Now, personally, I'm going to set these aside for now. But personally, I love the look of this ship right like that. I love this shape. I absolutely adore it. I don't know why, and I'm going to get some other angles on the ship in just a minute so you guys can check it out. But I did want to show you, after I decided that I wanted those cargo pods to be able to be removed, I decided I wanted to be able to make interchangeable pods on them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this guy on there. So I built a white one with blue accents, like a kind of a Han Solo or a Lando Calrissian Millennium Falcon from the Solo Star Wars story, which I highly recommend you go see. I really like the movie. So I got this blue and white one, and it is exactly the same. It's just hollow on the inside, but as you can see, I still kept the tan and black floors. That, you know, I think it's a really nice color scheme. So I'm going to throw this guy over here just to kind of complete the ship. And I'm going to show you the next cargo container I made. And some of you may recognize it. It's this. If any of you have the Rathtar Escape set from Episode 7 that came with Han and Chewie, some Guavian Enforcers, and Balatik, and a couple of Rathars, this is the Rathtar pod. And so I did make some modifications to make it a little bit tighter in here. So you can lift out the thing from the top. And then I did add just a little stud right here so that the thing would clip in. And we've got a Rathtar in there, right? And this was hilarious because this was what my son Ben actually said that I should do, is to build the Rathtar pod and make it so that it could attach. And guess what? It does. Now there is a specific way that makes it really easy, there we go, to attach. And I just got to always figure out exactly where that is each time. And so there you go. You have a Rathtar pod attached to your cargo freighter. Isn't that fun? Yeah, it's fun, you know it. So I take that off. Sweet. And there's one more container that I made, and it's something I did on my other Falcon as well, is I took the cargo containers from the Rogue One sets. So this is a white version of it. They came in orange, but this one I just made out of white. But these are some cargo containers that were in a couple different sets. They were on the Scarif set and the Imperial Hover Tank set. But anyway, I took and built 5 of those. I built 3 white ones and 2 red ones. And then I built a system for them. So I'll go ahead and take this apart real quick so you can kind of see. So we've got this pod for them to sit on. That comes off easily with these non-studded plates, you know, some tiles and stuff. And then these all come off. But if we put them all back on, pop this guy on and go 1, 2, and 3. On the back of this little container, you can see it's got the 3 points of contact. We have a clip and we have our different holes. And this thing also attaches on. Ta-da! Isn't that great? I also thought it was fun. I did put the Imperial logo on the side there just to, you know, make it more imperialistic. And there you go. That's a different configuration for it. So I am super excited for this ship. I have had so much fun building this. And now comes the next part. So I'm going to just put this on right here just to give it a completed look. And we are going to jump out now. I'm sorry this video is going to be a little longer, but that's because I want to show you so many features on this ship. And it's going to take a little bit. But don't you worry, we're just about done with the outside. And then we're going to move on to the inside. There is one thing I do want to show you real quick. I'm going to tilt the camera up here. This is supported by a very familiar framing system using these large Technic brick pieces to tie everything together. But if you look, everything, you know, ties together really well and fits together quite well. But if you look at the front forks, you'll notice that the studs are actually facing downwards in front of these piping or these round sections. And the reason that is because to make the forks as thin as I could while looking good, I had to only have one stud thickness between them. And so I used double-sided, not the bracket studs, but they're 1x2 bricks with studs on both of the two sides. Maybe I can get one real quick and show you, but for those of you who know what I'm talking about, that's how I did that. And let's start exploring the inside of the ship. So like any good designer, I decided to up my game. And for my previous ship, which had very limited insides, I decided I wanted this thing to be completely open in the interior. So we'll start with the easy section. We can open up all these, you know, just like the regular Falcons do. And then we can actually remove the entire front cockpit piece and roof. And we can kind of get in there. Let's go take a look. So if we look in here, we can see area for the controls for a pilot and co-pilot, and then it comes back, have some nice decoration on the floor right there. It was just for fun. And we come back here, we have a gun rack over here, and then we have some engine components. Now these were actually necessary because the weight of the fork comes back all the way here and actually has a through line all the way through to there. And that's how I was able to keep it so straight. So there's actually a lot of very important building techniques in here. But I was able to kind of cover them up and do some greebling in there as kind of like an engine or maintenance compartment. But then, like I said, we do have a couple of guns mounted there. And then we have a couple guns mounted over here, as well as some thermal detonators down inside. And you see I have the exact same thing on the opposite end over there. Oh, sorry. On the opposite end over there. But of course, like any self-respecting Corellian ship, you have to have a smuggling section. And so these two matching things over here are actually containers, and they contain what else but holocrons. So that one has the Sith one, and the other one probably has the Jedi one. But yeah, they just those little boxes just sit right down in. Boop. And then you can put your little holocrons in there. Boop. And then you have these little grill sticker tiles to kind of hide the fact that that's anything other than more engine parts. All right. So moving backwards now, we'll realign the guns here. We have our gunner turret. Now, this one's interesting because he can actually only control one half of the turrets at a time. So he actually has to face one direction or the other in order to use whichever guns. And you access it here by lifting up. And there's a little guy in there. And then, unfortunately, I couldn't get a swivel in there because of the structural needs that I had to tie everything together. Well, all you do is you just lift him up and you turn him around. Boop, close it up. And then he can operate the other gun. Pew, 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 pew. My favorite part of building this thing was discovering this transparent 6x6 piece. I don't know what set it came from or anything, but when I saw that in my bin, I'm like, I have to use that to form this really, really nice bubble of transparent Lego. Oh, I just love that transparent bubble. It looks a little goofy with this thing on there. And I know that there are some pieces like this, like the TIE Fighter front, that already have the clip on it. And so I could have lowered the profile of this just a little bit. But when I'm looking at the side, it actually doesn't go, it's almost right on par with the engine pods. And so I'm really happy. I'm happy with where it is. And then when I have the cockpit piece on, it has this nice flow to it that feels pretty legitimate. So anyway, all right, now let's get into some tricky stuff, shall we? So these are designed to actually be removed, but sometimes they fight me. There's a little 1x2 plate inside that keeps catching, and it's catching, of course, right now. Oh, that came off pretty easy. Oh, that went well. All right, and so we remove both of these things, and then we straighten our brackets a little bit, and then the entire back end opens up. Whoop, 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 whoop. Now it does seem to be a little dark in there, so let's actually remove that piece there, which is removable. Cool, huh? So we have this fun little bed that I made. Sorry if the phone gets a little angled. All right, so there's a little fun bed. Sorry for the dusty parts. I'm had to speed build this particular set because we just had a baby, and the baby comes home tomorrow. So I'm recording this at night before baby gets here, and I no longer have any time to do this. So I built this bed. I wanted it to look like the Falcon beds. So it's got all the tan in there, and I think it turned out pretty good. I rather like the design. Anyway, let's go over here to the other side, and we have a little mini kitchen. I'm a plumber, so of course it has to have a kitchen, right? So we have our little faucet here that goes into a sink, and then we have some plates stacked up and some cups. Over here, I wasn't sure if it was an oven or a dishwasher. I'm gonna say oven, a little mini oven. Sorry for the blurry. And then on top, just a little stove top, and I use those one by one stud plates with holes in them to kind of simulate the rings of a burner. And then a couple of those. And then over there is like a little mini fridge underneath the plates and the cups. And then there's even a little opening cupboard that you can put some stuff in. I haven't put anything in there yet, but you know, you'll get there. All right, now, as I just mentioned, I am a plumber, so if I'm gonna put a kitchen inside of a ship, what else do you think I gotta put in there? That's right, I gotta put in a bathroom. It's one thing the original designers of the Millennium Falcon forgot to do. So I think I'm one up on those guys too. And it's very hard to see, but it's there. So if you look down inside there, you can see a gold sink right there, a gold faucet with a little basin, and then you can see the floor is actually tiled black and tan. And then, oh, what's over that over there? It's a toilet! Hello, tiny toilet for a little tiny baby Lego guy. Props to you if you get that reference. So if we come up here, we can see the toilet a little better. You can see it's a round one. I even got the handle. It is on the wrong side, but that was due to building constraints. But yeah, we've got a toilet and a sink, little half bath inside of our Millennium Falcon mock. And I even added a door for some privacy. It's not completely closed. It's more like a stall in a public restroom. So not the most private, but you know, it's pretty good. All right, and then we can put all this back together, and it all locks in so that the door to the bathroom is locked in. All that's locked together. So right now I have 4 guys in the ship. You can see I've got my gun turret and cargo watching guy. I've got a guy on the boarding ramp who is at this moment most likely the co-pilot. And then we have the pilot up there, and then we have one guy asleep. And that's because in my universe, I decided that ships would run on a 28-hour rotation. And so each of these crew members would be able to get 7 hours of sleep at a time. And so you only need one bed. So, I thought of that. Oh, I also needed to show you my little engine. So this is my engine that I designed. Unfortunately, I mean, it's not the prettiest and not the most interesting in some places, but I really had fun building it, putting all the different pieces on there and getting all the smoothness and whatnot. It was a lot of fun. So, and then of course over here I actually did have a couple extra containers that contained some odd colored holograms. I think I have an orange one and a green one in there. So anyway, those are the backs of the ship, and that is the full internals. Whew! I think that's my ship. I think I covered everything. Oh, if you wanted to look a little bit closer at these engine pods. So, as you can see, I do have a mismatched part here. I was going to order some Bricklink stuff. I actually used every one of these parts in light gray that I had. You see I have them on the outside here. I have 3 of them on each of the engine pods, and then I have 4 more of them all around the ship, which was a little bit of a pain. But what I can do is, I can blow it up so you can see the inside. So if you want to look at how I kind of set that together, I will get this back together real quick, and you can kind of look at that. So these are kind of the things I was talking about on the forks, except these are only one-sided studs. It's one-sided bricks. So they're 1x2 bricks with the studs on one side, whereas the ones over there, they have studs on this side and the opposite side. But since these are double wide, I was able to use 2 different ones. And then these awesome bricks. See these things? I love these guys. These, what are they? 1x2 by 1 2/3 with 4 studs on the side. It's pretty amazing. And then you can see the rotation, the circle engine. So just give me 1 second. Sorry about that. One of my kids woke up with a nightmare. So that's the engine pods. And as a matter of fact, I know this is going to sound a little cheesy, but I actually have to have them in this position. Oop, forgot my gunner pod. I actually have to have those engines taken apart in order for them to function properly. One thing you'll also notice is that there's actually an even number of them, but there's not a single back section. And so to get those to line up and to actually stay together was quite an engineering challenge. Believe it or not, I actually built the cargo pods first before I built any of the rest of the ship, so they kind of decided the size of the ship. Which actually is, I know these stick out, and you may think that, oh, he didn't design that right, but that actually is intentional. So, and that was just an aesthetic choice. So when I've got this in, I press these things to get, some of my, everything fits very, very tight. So push that on there, and then we slide this guy in. Boop. Slide everything on and clip it all together, and there's our engine pod. One of them. So yeah, that is the ship. That is my YT. My YT 985, number 76. So if you are familiar with Star Wars, you won't understand those numbers at all, because that's not where they came from. They're just personal, and I thought the 6 looked really cool. So that was aesthetic choices that designers hate, right? So there we go. We've got all of our engine pods. I showed you my different cargo containers and how the engines go on and how it all works together. So thank you so much for hanging out this long. I know this was a really long video, but I appreciate everybody for sticking around. and I hope to see you guys in the future. Let me know if there's anything in particular that you'd like to see, if I went by something rather fast on a particular section. I can go back and open it up and do it a little bit tighter, but otherwise, I'll just do one more quick little walk around the ship, kind of at ground level, so you can get some profile shots. See how it kind of looks. Oh, you know what? There is one thing I forgot to do. One thing I forgot to show you. And I'm actually going to see if the ship can help me here. All right. We're going to take off the thing, and there is, of course, a boarding ramp. Boop. Right down there. A little guy walking down. Doo, 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 doo. Hello. Hello, I'm a guy, and oh, and I fell. But yeah, it's got a little boarding ramp there. Let's kick this guy off. Okay. And pull it up for takeoff. Okay, yeah, you gotta close it by hand. There we go. All right, now you've seen everything, except maybe the landing gear. Nothing too exciting. Making space inside the ship made me have to put some structural stuff inside. So thank you so much for checking it out, and I hope I get to talk to you guys again. Again, thank you so much. If you stuck around this long, you get a thumbs up from me, and that I mean it. We'll see you guys next time on TJ's Lego Room.